You know, everything has an expiration date, from the phone in your pocket to the stars in the sky. And that includes, well, everything, the entire universe. It's not going to last forever. So today, let's talk about the 3 most likely ways it could all go dark.
Yeah, one day, the universe will die. That's a heavy thought, right? But based on everything we currently understand about physics, it's pretty much unavoidable. The show has to end at some point.
So that naturally brings up a couple of massive questions, doesn't it? How? And, why? To even begin to answer that, we have to look at this epic cosmic battle that's raging right now for the fate of, well, everything.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. First, why we think the universe even has an expiration date. Then, we'll get into that cosmic tug-of-war I mentioned. We'll look at the 3 big possibilities, the Big Rip, the Big Freeze, and the Big Crunch. And we'll wrap up with what scientists think is the most likely verdict. All right, so our first stop is understanding the universe's expiration date. And the whole key to this mystery starts with something really, really weird that we discovered about what's happening right now. See, we've known for ages that the universe is expanding, but the big shocker, that expansion is actually speeding up. Think about it like this. For the longest time, we expected the universe to behave like a ball you toss up in the air, right? You throw it, and you expect gravity to slow it down, maybe even pull it back. But what we found is just bizarre. It's like that ball you threw suddenly sprouted a rocket and started blasting away from you faster and faster. So what in the world is stepping on the gas pedal? The honest answer is, we have no clue. Seriously. But we needed a name for this mystery force, so we call it dark energy. It's this bizarre, invisible something that seems to fill all of space and is just pushing everything apart.
And what's wild is that this idea has been around for a while. Way back in 1917, Einstein himself came up with something similar to try and keep his model of the universe from collapsing. He later famously called it his biggest blunder. But then, in 1998, when we discovered this crazy acceleration, scientists were like, wait a minute, maybe Einstein was onto something after all. So what was once a blunder is now like a core piece of the entire cosmic puzzle.
Okay, so this sets the stage for the ultimate cosmic tug-of-war. In one corner, you've got good old gravity, always trying to pull things together. And in the other corner, you have this mysterious newcomer, dark energy, pushing everything apart. The entire fate of the universe, our whole story, depends on who wins this fight. So let's look at future number 1. And this one is violent. This is the scenario where dark energy doesn't just win the tug-of-war. It completely overpowers gravity in the most catastrophic way imaginable. Let's talk about the Big Rip. The idea behind the Big Rip is actually pretty simple, but it is absolutely terrifying. Basically, dark energy's push just keeps getting stronger and stronger until it's so powerful that it can overcome gravity everywhere. We're talking from huge galaxy clusters all the way down to the tiny atoms that make you, you. And here's how it would go down, step by step. First, the space between galaxies would stretch so fast that they'd be torn from each other, gone. Then, the same thing happens inside galaxies. Stars and planets? The gravity holding them together just fails. They dissolve. In the last, final moments, space itself expands faster than light, and the very fabric of matter gives way. Atoms get ripped apart. And what's left? A universe of countless lonely particles, drifting forever, never able to interact with each other again. A truly empty end. Okay, quick quiz for you. In that Big Rip scenario we just talked about, what's the fundamental force that totally loses the battle against dark energy? Yep, you got it. It's gravity. Whew, okay. That was intense. Let's shift gears from that incredibly violent end to our second possibility. This one isn't a sudden explosion. It's more like a slow, quiet fade to black. People call it the Big Freeze, or sometimes the heat death. Now, the key to understanding the Big Freeze is all about one single concept, entropy. And all entropy really is the universe's natural tendency to go from a state of order to a state of disorder.
And honestly, the best way to explain it is with a latte macchiato. Picture it. When it's first poured, you have those beautiful, orderly layers. Hot espresso, cold milk, it's got structure. But just let it sit there for a while. What happens? The heat evens out, the layers all mix together, and what you're left with is just a lukewarm, boring, uniform cup of coffee. That boring, uniform state, that's maximum entropy.
Well, the universe is basically that cup of coffee, just on a scale that's almost impossible to imagine.
In this heat-death future, the universe just keeps expanding forever. And as it does, all the energy, all the matter just spreads out thinner and thinner, gets colder and colder, until, just like that coffee, everything is the same, uniform, unchanging, and lifeless.
And man, this would be the longest goodbye in history. We're talking trillions of years from now. All the gas clouds will be gone, so no new stars can be born. The lights of the universe will literally go out one by one. Existing stars will burn out. Even the mighty black holes will slowly evaporate away. And in the end, nothing left but a thin, freezing cold gas of leftover particles. Entropy will have finally won. The universe won't be ripped apart, it'll just be cold, dark, and dead.
Okay, another quick quiz. What was that everyday drink we use to explain entropy, the main idea behind the Big Freeze? You got it, the latte macchiato.
But wait, what if we've got dark energy all wrong? What if it's not all-powerful? What if gravity is staging a comeback? Well, that brings us to our third and final possibility. This one is called the Big Crunch.
The Big Crunch is exactly what it sounds like. It's the Big Bang, but played in reverse. The whole idea is, what if dark energy isn't as strong as we think? Or maybe it gets weaker over time. If that happens, gravity could eventually take back control. It would slam on the brakes of that cosmic expansion, bring it to a screeching halt, and then throw the whole thing into reverse.
And don't think for a second this is a gentle ending. It's every bit as dramatic as the Big Rip. First, the expansion stops and reverses. Galaxies, instead of flying apart, start rushing towards each other, smashing together in these insane collisions. As everything gets squeezed together, the whole universe gets unbelievably hot. So hot, in fact, that the background radiation itself would start to cook stars from the outside in. And in the final, chaotic moments, everything gets swallowed up by giant black holes, which then all merge into one single super-duper massive black hole that contains, well, everything.
All right, last quiz question for you. In the Big Crunch, this great collapse, who's the winner of that cosmic tug-of-war? If you're thinking gravity, you are 100% right.
So there you have it, the three big possibilities: a violent rip, a long, cold freeze, or a fiery crunch. So which one is it? Based on everything we know right now, what's the final verdict for our universe? And is there maybe a glimmer of hope in any of this?
Okay, let's just quickly put it all together. The Big Rip and the Big Freeze. Those are Team Dark Energy wins, leading to the universe getting torn apart or just fading into cold nothingness. The Big Crunch, that's a win for Team Gravity, where everything collapses back in on itself. So what do scientists think is most likely? Well, right now, all the evidence we have points to the Big Freeze. The long, slow heat death seems to be our most probable future.
But there's a really cool what if that comes out of the Big Crunch scenario. It's an idea called the Big Bounce. And it's this fascinating theory that the end of a Big Crunch could actually trigger a brand new Big Bang. The idea is that maybe this has all happened before and will happen again. An infinite cycle of universes, being born, expanding, contracting, and then being born all over again.
And that just leaves us with one last big idea to chew on. Yeah, the Big Freeze seems like the most likely outcome based on the data, but the possibility of a Big Bounce, that changes how you think about everything, doesn't it? It suggests that maybe the end isn't really the end. So I'll leave you with this question. If the entire universe can be reborn from its own ashes, does that mean the end is really just another beginning?